Okay, in this video we are going to learn how to connect to a remote server using the Windows command line. Okay, so if you've never used the Windows command line, go down to the search bar and type cmd.exe, and this command prompt app is what we're looking for. So you can click on that, and this is the command prompt. This is a terminal window, and the Windows command prompt starts out with the path of your location. Okay, so generally every user is going to start out in their home directory. So this is a C drive, it's the hard drive. Then you look in users, and then my particular username is just vanilla. It's called user, right? Some of the commands work in Linux and Windows, not very many of them though. One of those commands is cd, so I can change directories to my desktop if I want. And now I'm on my desktop. I can also go back to where I was, go to the parent, just like that. Now in Linux we use the ls command to see what's inside of this folder. Right? ls is not recognized as an internal or external command. We can't use the ls command. So if I want to, in Windows, let's go back to the desktop, if I want to list out the contents of the directory, it's actually the dir command. Okay, and that shows you, that's the Windows equivalent to ls. And those are the only two real commands you might need in the Windows terminal. Okay, so you can navigate around a little bit, and then but mostly what we're going to do is connect to the Linux server, and we can use the Linux server to do pretty much everything we need. Just know whenever you see this style command prompt, the C drive is the dead giveaway, and also backslashes on the path. That is a DOS style or Windows style path. So we are on the local machine right now. We are not connected to the CS server. So to connect to a remote server, we use the SSH command, and then the username, CS, I'm going to use 201. Okay, so that's just my username, and then at what machine, we're going to connect to cs.indstate.edu. Alright, and then just press enter. Okay, the first time you do this, this is a security measure. It's going to ask if this is definitely the server you're trying to connect to. And so verify here, it does say cs.indstate.edu. This is just a safety measure. You say yes once, it'll never ask you again. Alright, so we'll type in yes. And then now we have to type in the password that you should have received. Okay. As soon as I type in the password, we see no characters are showing up, and that's normal. That's also a security measure, but they are registering. So go ahead and type it in, and then press enter. Once we press enter, we're going to log in, and you're going to see a lot of data come up on the screen. Okay, so there's where we typed our password, and then it gives us some login information, and then there's a little blurb here. It's called a fortune. It tells you some interesting quote or something. It's just supposed to be kind of fun. So that's random every time. And then if you've never logged in before, we automatically run the change finger information command. Okay, so that's what's happening here, change finger information. The finger information, it identifies you, so it's kind of like a fingerprint, but you just type in your name. That's all you have to do. So, but in order to fill out the finger information, you have to first type out your password. Alright, so I'm going to type in my password incorrectly, so you see what happens in case you do the same thing. But if you type in your password correctly, it will just allow you to fill in your finger information. So if I type it in incorrectly, it's going to check, and it says authentication failure, okay, and takes us back to the CS command prompt. Okay, so this is the Linux style command prompt. Notice the forward slashes. Okay, so this is what you see when you first log in to the CS server. So I messed up the change finger information, right? That's not uncommon, so in order to fix that, I need to type chfn. Okay, chfn, and press enter, and type in my password. Okay, and then for your name, just type in your first and last name, and you can leave the rest blank. Okay, if you want to clear one of the items, chfn, and I can type none, and then it deletes that field. chfn, and we'll see that it's gone this time. Okay, so it's gone. So I'll type it back in. Okay, so that's good, and then I need to change my password. So in order to change my password, PASSWD is the command to do that. It's going to ask me for my current password, so type that in, and then a new password, and then retype the new one. Okay, password updated successfully. Okay, so make sure you remember your password, and we now can exit whenever we're finished connecting to the CSS server, or the CS server. Just type exit, and you see it takes us back to the Windows command prompt. So now we are back in our local machine. The Linux command prompt, we're sending commands to the CS server, and it's executing them there and sending back the results. Once we exit that connection, we are now back in our local machine space, and we are executing commands locally here with this Windows command prompt. And we can always go back and use the SSH command again to connect. Okay, so that's enough for this video.